My name is Mike Caligari, and I'm a professor and former chair of the accounting department here at Santa Clara. My goal in the next few minutes is to help you understand the program and some of the advantages of majoring in accounting, or ANIS, here at Santa Clara. But first, let me tell you a little about myself. So I'm a Bay Area native. I've worked at SCU for almost 20 years. Before that, I worked for 10 years in public accounting and also have a master's degree and a PhD. Apart from teaching, my work as a professor involves research, and I research accounting topics such as using how much historical accounting information can tell us about the future profits and cash flows of a company. But I'm not alone in this forecast, and I'd like the others to introduce themselves at this point.
Hi, my name is Patrick Connolly. I'm a third-year accounting major from San Francisco, California. When I'm not studying, I really enjoy playing basketball at the Malley Center here on campus. And when I was making my college decision, I was mostly focusing on schools in the West Coast, and Santa Clara really appealed to me because of its small class size, the community aspect on campus, and also the Levy School of Business.
Hi, my name is Brady Smith. I'm originally from Pleasanton, California, and I graduated this past winter quarter. I was originally drawn to Santa Clara like Patrick because when I was applying to schools, I knew I wanted to stay on the West Coast. Additionally, I was attracted to the business school. And then when I'm not studying accounting, I enjoy exercising and hanging out with friends.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a junior AIS major from Fremont, California, and I chose to go to Santa Clara because I was looking for a school that had a great accounting program as well as a small faculty to student ratio so I could have the same experience as I did in high school. And I also liked how Santa Clara was kind of close to home. If I'm not studying, I like to sing and play the ukulele.
Hi, I'm Emerald. I'm a junior accounting major from San Jose, California, so I'm local like the others. In my free time, I really like going on hikes and cooking healthy food. And when I was first looking at schools, I was really only considering big public schools. So it was kind of a surprise to me that I chose a small private school like Santa Clara, but I'm really glad I did. I ultimately chose Santa Clara because of the strong business school and its connection to the Silicon Valley, a really great financial aid package that I received, and just the overall really close community on campus.
Thanks, Emerald. So let's first talk about our program now. So our program offers introductory accounting classes for all business students, as well as two majors, accounting and ANIS. And the ANIS is shorthand for Accounting and Information Systems. So each year we graduate about 100 students from our program. About half choose accounting and half are ANIS majors. And I'll talk a little more about these two majors in a minute. Both majors are strongly supported by our alums and by the Silicon Valley business community, who fund about 30 to 35 scholarships each year for our students. Now, our classes are taught by a mix of professors from both academic and professional backgrounds, although most of our academically trained faculty, like me, also have previous business experience. Our professionally trained faculty include two former partners from Deloitte and two former CFOs from public companies. And our focus is on providing a first-class learning experience for our students. And we don't use teaching assistants. Now, all business students are required to take two accounting courses in their sophomore year. The financial accounting course shows you how to create and analyze financial reports that the businesses provide to their external investors and creditors, while the managerial course shows you how to develop financial information for internal use, for internal financial planning, forecasting, and analysis. These skills are valuable for all business majors. But if you want to further develop your accounting and analytical skills, you can take additional courses in your sophomore and junior and senior years. The class size for each accounting class is capped at 30. Just like all the other business school classes here at Santa Clara. And unlike other universities that promote a 5-year accounting program, we've designed our program so that every student can complete it within 4 years or less, and still have the ability to have all the units necessary for CPA licensure, which saves you time and money. So now, Brady and Emerald, maybe you can tell us why you decided to major in accounting and what your experience has been so far.
Yeah, so when I entered Santa Clara into the Levy School of Business, I didn't really know which major I wanted to pursue. However, once I got into my sophomore year and took financial accounting, accounting 11 with Professor Caligari, I was able to see that accounting provides a great background for any sort of business that you wanted to enter moving forward. And I was drawn to that, so I decided to major in accounting. And then as I went through the program, I really enjoyed the other classes I was taking, including intermediate, as well as cost accounting with Professor C. Cheeley as well.
And for me, like Brady said, I also entered Santa Clara through the business school, and I really wasn't sure which major I wanted to pursue. But after talking to a couple of professors and other business students, I decided to check out accounting. So my first accounting class was Accounting 11, which is financial accounting with Professor Paisley. He really is a great source of advice and inspiration, I guess, and he is kind of the main reason I pursued accounting. That class was really great, and I also really enjoyed my Accounting 20 class. I developed a great relationship with the professor, and I ended up interning under him at VMware as well.
Thanks, Emerald. And Professor Paisley, who she mentioned she took in her first year, or first accounting class, he's one of those former CFOs I talked about, and he works on several boards of public companies still. So our second major, ANIS, is essentially a combination of accounting and accounting information systems, and information systems. And we created this major because people trained in both are highly valued in the business community. Students majoring in ANIS take all the required accounting classes, plus they take 5 other classes from the information system area. So Michelle and Pat, can you talk about what led you to select ANIS as your major and maybe something about the classes?
Yeah, so I chose to add the IS part to my major because growing up I was always interested in technology, and I thought that having the addition of the coding skills would be potentially useful for my career path. And so far I've taken 2 programming language classes. One is Python, the other one SQL. And although those are really challenging classes, I thought that they helped me think about problems, to solve problems in a different manner compared to my accounting classes.
Yeah, the ANIS major appealed to me because of the courses offered in programming, coding, and database management, which, as Michelle mentioned, are very desirable qualities for the new business world. And a course that really stuck out to me is over my past 3 years here is Intermediate Accounting 2, where we learn to amortize bonds, account for pensions, and account for leases. And while that material seems sort of dry, but it is really interesting when you get into the thick of it, and it's really beneficial to learn.
Okay, thanks, guys. So next, people are always interested in our rankings, so let's talk a little bit about that. So our accounting reputation, as we mentioned, has a great reputation in the Silicon Valley business community and also in the academic world. And based on a survey of academics, U.S. News and World Report currently ranks us number 37 in the nation, while greatbusinessschools.org ranks us number 16, and College Choice ranks us number 27, while you take other factors other than just a survey of academics into account. And we're especially proud of our ranking by LinkedIn, which found that we were number 8 in the nation based on the long-term career success of our alums, which is something that we consider most important when we assess our success as educators. Now, as I mentioned earlier, our students are highly valued by the business community. Our alums serve in a variety of leadership positions at professional CPA firms, including all the Big Four, at professional service companies like Accenture, and at both well-known and not so well-known companies throughout California and the rest of the nation. For example, recently I searched my LinkedIn connections when I was preparing for this webcast, and I found that I have my students, and I found accounting alums and ANIS alums at local firms like Adobe, Apple, Applied Materials, Cisco, eBay, Facebook, at Gilead Sciences, Google, both HPs, at Intel, Intuitive Surgical, LinkedIn, Netflix, NVIDIA, Oracle, Salesforce, Tesla, Twitter, Uber, Varian Medical Devices, Visa, VMware, and many other smaller companies and startups. Now, although some students begin working for these firms immediately out of college, most accounting and AIS students begin their careers at professional service accounting, tax, and CPA firms because the training and experience that you can get at these firms enable you to move more quickly into advanced positions at the other companies that I mentioned, or you can start your own business with that background. Accounting is a dynamic field, and there's a lot of opportunities for lifelong growth and learning. And the more experience you develop, the more likely you're going to encounter more opportunities and you can move into some very exciting areas of business. So maybe now, Emerald, Brady, maybe you can discuss here your decision on why you're beginning your career at a CPA firm and maybe how you decided on which particular firm to join. So let's start with Emerald.
Yeah, so I first started my recruiting experience by attending the sophomore career fair, and I got to talk to some recruiters and learn a lot more about the firms. And I basically tried to get a lot more information by attending a lot of different recruiting events on campus and just holding a lot of informational interviews with SCU alum, which was great. And I ended up interviewing for the Big Four, and I received offers from all four, and I will be interning this summer at Deloitte. And the reason why I chose to go with a CPA firm is because you really learn so much information and you gain so much knowledge even within like 2 to 3 years right after college. And it's really a great springboard to be able to launch you to other career options, or you can continue to work your way up in the firm if you wish. So it's really a great opportunity right out of college. And I think that it really continues your learning even after you graduate.
Yeah, like Emerald, I was drawn to the sphere of public accounting because of all the opportunities and training and experience that you could gather working within one of those firms. So I began recruiting my sophomore year at Meet the Firms Night, where a bunch of firms come on campus, and it's an opportunity for you to network with various professionals across the Big Four, as well as the smaller, more regional firms or mid-sized firms. From there, I interviewed on campus for the Big Four and attended their summer leadership programs in the summer of my sophomore year, and was lucky enough to get offered internships at 3 of them. I decided to take my offer with Ernst & Young, my internship offer with Ernst & Young, because of the people that I was able to network with at all those various events, as well as the client base that they had in assurance. And then I interned there last summer in the San Francisco office and had a great experience working on 2 different clients and signed my full-time offer this past August to return in the fall.
Well, congratulations and thanks, Brady.
Thanks.
Both these students mentioned Big Four, and so the Big Four are the largest international accounting firms in the world. They all have offices here and throughout the nation, and again, throughout the world. And most of our students elect to begin working here in the Bay Area, in the Silicon Valley, because the opportunities here are so great. But every year, some of our students work in New York, Chicago, and other places. So recruiting in other parts of the country is certainly viable through the process here that we've set up here at Santa Clara. So first, so recruiting at Santa Clara actually begins early in your first year for some students. All the Big Four firms have designated SCU as a target school for their recruiting efforts. And the largest firms have diversity-based internship programs for first year and second year students. During the sophomore year, though, things develop really quickly. We hold career fairs and information events for our students, and CPA firms begin interviewing sophomore accounting students for their summer leadership programs and also for junior summer internship programs. And yeah, it's interesting how this works. So they actually interview you as a sophomore for an internship that will begin following your junior year, 15 months later. And the recruiting can be pretty intense here. The firms really want our students. And because of that, we've actually set up recruiting guidelines. And these guidelines, what they do is they require firms to hold any offers open that they extend to a student until the student has had a time to interview with all firms, so you can make a decision after seeing all the different companies. And in fact, the CPA firms are so competitive as a number of them have set up recruiting hours at a local Starbucks so that they can catch students off campus informally. Now, at the fall of our beginning, in the beginning of the junior year in the fall, our student-led accounting association has a career fair in which they invite about 30 firms and a couple of hundred students attend. And this is, again, for summer internships primarily. And at this fair, through this fair and through the sophomore interviews that they had earlier, about 70% of our juniors end up with, or maybe 80%, 70, 80%, depending on the year, end up with internships at CPA firms for the summer following their junior year. And by the end of this internship, almost all these students will have been offered a full-time job. Now, those students who don't find their full-time jobs through these internships get recruited in the fall of their senior year. So there's major recruiting that occurs then. And by the end of their senior year, by graduation, almost every one of our students has a full-time job. And quite honestly, the demand for our students is so great that we could probably double or triple the amount of students we graduate, and almost every one of them would still have a job upon graduation. So now, Pat and Michelle, maybe now you can talk about your experience with recruiting and the companies that you decided to join.
Yeah, I found the recruiting process here at SCU to be very straightforward and easy to navigate. Although it starts very early, the Santa Clara does a good job of communicating to the students what these events are and how to prepare for them. And additionally, all the firms are very good at reaching out to students and offering guidelines and any help they can give as well. So my sophomore year, I was fortunate enough to accept an internship with KPMG for my summer following my junior year, which will be this summer actually.
Thanks, Pat.
And for me, I agree with Pat what he said about the recruiting for Santa Clara is very straightforward and easy. I actually started my recruiting process my sophomore year during the sophomore accounting career fair, and I was able to participate in several of the summer leadership programs, some with the Big Four and some with the mid-tier firms. And I thought this was a great way to just understand the company culture and see if I saw myself working there in the future. And ultimately, I decided to join Deloitte because I felt that I connected with the professionals very well and I saw myself working there long term.
Okay, well, this is the end of our formal presentation, but before signing off, I'm going to ask each of my co-hosts to provide some final thoughts about your SCU experience. So maybe, Emerald, we can start with you.
Yeah, for sure. So during my time at Santa Clara, I've been fortunate enough to participate in a lot of different organizations on campus. So some of them are ASG, which is Associated Student Government. I was on the finance branch for 2 years. I'm also a part of the Santa Clara Accounting Association, the Professional Co-ed Business Fraternity, AKSI, and I also participated in the Peer Educator Program, was a part of the Hypnotic Dance team, and also studied abroad in London this past fall and was fortunate enough to intern there as well. And I think just overall, my Santa Clara experience has honestly been really great. I think each year I see a lot of personal growth, and I think it's really important to find a school where you not only feel comfortable to be yourself, but you feel comfortable reaching and kind of like taking risks to take on those opportunities that help you grow both professionally and personally.
Wow, I'm jealous. That was much nicer than my college experience. So maybe Patrick, you can talk next.
Yeah, over my 3 years so far at Santa Clara, one thing I've really grown to appreciate was the Jesuit aspect of my education, which allows you to take classes outside of your major and interests. For example, my sophomore year, I took a religion class which analyzed animal suffering in the context of different world religions. And we also got to go off campus and do some volunteer work at a couple animal shelters as well. I found this experience to be super valuable and something I don't know if I would have gotten at other universities.
Thanks, Patrick. And maybe Michelle?
Yes. So overall, my experience in Santa Clara, like working with fellow classmates, has been a positive one. And I feel like many students at Santa Clara are very open towards helping each other, whether it be sharing notes or studying together. And I think for my major specifically, I'm able to build a community with the people I've been working with because I always see them through classes, and that's been such a great experience so far.
Thanks. And Brady, some final thoughts from you?
Yeah, looking back on my Santa Clara experience, I'm extremely grateful for all the leadership and opportunities for growth, as Emerald referenced earlier. In my sophomore and junior year, I was able to be involved in the Levy School of Business peer advising program, where I mentored 14 first-year students and helped them adjust to life in college and sign up for classes and fulfill their academic requirements through class scheduling. And then I was also involved in the Neighborhood Prosperity Initiative, where a team of 4 students are linked up with a small business owner from the surrounding Santa Clara area. And we were to help them address their needs as a small business owner. So those 2 experiences I'm extremely grateful for looking back on my time.
Thanks. And I think I could have used some peer advice when I was first starting in college. That's for sure. So in this presentation, we may not have touched upon all the things you may have wanted to know about Santa Clara and about the accounting program. So feel free to contact us using any of the links on this page.